Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are, whoever you are. Welcome once again to Anime Octane. We're up to our third episode, folks, of our new show. Woohoo! Looking at anime, recent anime shows, currently running anime shows, movies, anything in the anime field, and breaking down a particular piece of property. An anime that just aired tonight is, of course, Yasuke from Netflix. Or it could be something classic. Who knows where we'll go as this show continues. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. This is, of course, brought to you by us, the folks at Nerd Caliber. First-person shooter on Facebook, Burley_adopter on Twitter and some other places. Joining me tonight, let's see, you're both are wearing hats, so now am I going to have to do, you know what? We're going to go with the villain of the piece, Manny, actually, and our founder. Manny, if you would introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Manny. I'm the founder of Nerd Caliber. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Awesome. And also joining us, one of our stalwart regulars in the non-villain cap. We'll call it, since it's gray.
As far as you know.
As far as we know. Good point. Byron, if you would.
All right. Hey, guys. Byron McNeil, a.k.a. Byron D0, multiple facets of the internet. Your resident anti-villain. But I digress. Contributing writer, social media aficionado, I guess. I don't even know what to call myself these days. I usually promote my art, but tonight I want to promote a charity that I have just recently started working closely with in the Boston area called The Black Project. It's a pro-Black charity that focuses on the creative arts. So if you're interested in finding out more about it, you can look them up. It's spelled BALC Project on the interwebs. And I'm also running a GoFundMe for it as well. But if it's more, check out the charity. It's great. They're awesome.
Cool.
I'm all about black creativity.
BLAC Project.
Yes.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you very much. And people in the chats already. Alexis Mora. Hi. Welcome to the show. Ranting with Spectre. I'm glad you clarified that. Worth watch or nah? And I was going to say, well, hang around. You might like the show. Oh, you mean the anime. Well, I would also say hang around, but that means you haven't seen it and we will be spoiling it. So I can't really tell you that you should hang around because, we're going to spoil the heck out of it. Because we're talking about whether things work or don't work and what's good and what's bad and so on. Do we want to help ranting out and give a recommendation or not right off the bat? Help the people in the chat out. I don't see why we should make you, sit through this whole thing. Byron, recommend or not?
If you have nothing better to do for a couple of hours, sure.
All right, Manny?
About the same, I would say.
Yeah, I'm
it's
kind of
complicated.
There are some wonderful, wonderful elements in this. But yeah, it's complicated is a great way to put it. There are so many things that don't live up to the promise of those wonderful elements. However, it's 6 episodes. So you're looking at,
hours.
Under 3 hours. Actually, you're looking at less than Avengers Endgame runtime. So,
well, I'll say this. I have to choose between this and Blood of Zeus. Definitely this.
Definitely
Yasuke.
I'm sorry. I'm looking down at my floor to see if I can see where that bar is that you just set.
What bar?
Bar? Yeah. So hopefully that helped you renting with Spectre. And as I mentioned, we are going to be spoiling it. So if you don't mind spoilers, hang around. If you want to watch it without spoilers, I suggest you tune out or find something else, or just turn the audio off and watch our mouths do this, and so we get the view. But anyway, no, don't do that. That would be silly. Moving on, let's talk about what Yasuke is and where it comes from. Yasuke is an anime on Netflix. which means it's 6 episodes, which you can binge. Like I said, in endgame amount of time. That is based on an actual historical character, and this is one of the wonderful things about this anime. So without getting super deep into it, Yasuke. All right, Renting with Spectre. See ya, and enjoy your watch. Hopefully, Yasuke was the first. There actually have been more than Yasuke, as it turns out, but was the first black African samurai, made a samurai by none other than Oda Nobunaga. And so he really did live in Japan in the late 1500s. The best get. Oh, and by the way, this is independent confirmation that this actually happened from both Jesuit missionary sources from the period and multiple written accounts from Japanese sources from the period, with same names, same descriptions, and generally same descriptions of some events that happened in his life, with enough variation that you can tell it wasn't just somebody cribbing from somebody else. So yeah, he was real. He was brought to Japan by a Jesuit missionary, wound up becoming part of a traveling entourage that included Oda Nobunaga, who became so fascinated with him that he made him one of his retainers, ultimately giving him land, a samurai sword, and a title. And he fought with Nobunaga in a number of battles, ultimately being his official sword bearer. So he's a real guy, and nobody knows exactly what happened to him after the historical sources just sort of dry up about any information about him.
Rumor has it though that he was actually that Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who led the insurgents against Nobunaga, sent him back to Europe.
So one Europe, or one says Africa. All of those are non-confirmed, rumors that are based on no actual sources from the time.
Yeah.
Once Nobunaga's son and Yasuke winds up. This isn't in the anime, but Yasuke winds up working for Nobunaga's son. Once Nobunaga's son is completely defeated, and therefore the Oda clan is no longer a source of power in the struggle to establish, the what becomes the Tokugawa shogunate. He disappears from the record, but he was real. So Netflix made an anime, and it started or it dropped 3 weeks ago. No,
Yeah,
two Thursdays ago. And we're going to now talk about that. So, the first thing we're going to get into is what the team here liked about this show, what worked, what was good, and let's start with Byron. Hit us, Byron.
I probably have the most positives out of anyone here.
Not going to disagree.
Yeah. It was definitely. I mean, this is like a Madhouse production, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Madhouse production, and the leader and the director of the show has like a huge amount of pull in the animation industry. Like, I'm forgetting, it's LaShawn Thomas, I believe.
Yeah. I'd have to look it up. Hold on.
Okay.
No, keep going. I mean, don't hold on. Keep going.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, LaShawn. Yeah.
Yes, LaShawn Thomas is the creator.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the creator. He has like a lot. Like, he's created his own anime studio in Japan, so he definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to visuals. The fight scenes are amazing. I don't take that away from him at all, because he's done Boondocks. He's also done Black Dynamite, which both have some stunning visuals. And y- that like it's pretty. It's definitely pretty. Um, I like Keith Stanfield at like his voice work. I'm have yet to watch the Japanese dub. I might watch one episode of it just to see. I mean, just to see like how just to see like how the voice actor does because I've seen pictures of the voice actor. He is he's mixed descent. He's Japanese and black. So I like the fact that they're going that far in for representation. Yeah, like across the board for this show, they don't take the easy way out by just casting good voice actors who are just anyone.
Hmm.
Like for Nobunaga, Japanese they got a Japanese American voice actor to voice him in the English dub. Um, the music was pretty solid, but again, that's a staple of LaShawn Thomas's portfolio, and the colors. Other than that, I don't really have a lot. There's not much more that I can say.
it sounds like you're straining to try and find really good
Yeah,
It
points
does.
about
It
this.
does. And
yeah, it
particularly when you
kind of
talk
is.
about one of the greatest points about it is the fact that something that has absolutely nothing to do with what's on Netflix right now. Well, I guess it is in the Japanese voice cast that they do, they cast a Japanese Japanese Black American, you know, uh, but it's that's not the anime we watched. So,
Yeah.
um, not that that isn't a great point. I mean, you're 100% right there. Casting a Black American Lakeith Stanfield, who's amazing in literally
Yes.
anything I've ever seen him.
I would, considering how Netflix is kind of hit or miss with their dubs, Evangelion, uh, you got to give credit where credit's due.
True, true. All right, Manny. Did anything work for you? I mean, what worked for you? What did you like?
All right, good stuff. Lakeith Stanfield is excellent. I don't think there's anything that he's done that I haven't that I didn't like. Knives Out, he was great in that. I forgot the parody one where it's about turning people into horses. It was a very weird.
Sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
Yes,
With
yes,
my movie of the year.
that's a great movie. It's a little bit surreal, of course, but it's a great movie. Judas and the Black Messiah, great movie. And again, he's great in this. Animation's good. The rest of the voice casting is fine. I didn't mind some of the secondary characters, like the mercenaries. I know everyone really likes that Resident Evil tall vampire, uh, but Nikita,
Yes.
Oh,
that's my jam.
Oh, you mean Bear Lady?
Yeah, the werebear. I believe she's Russian. At least they
yes,
kind of
yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was a little on the nose though.
yeah. I thought they were great. And that's really it. I'll also why just I mean this anime it's good, it's okay, it's not great. When I
Definitely
first
not.
heard about this anime, I really thought this was going to be a historical anime about the life of Yasuke, and I was like really excited about that because I've been reading stories about it, and I heard they are going to do a live action movie. That's the rumors I've heard. So maybe in my mind I got that confused when I saw that. I was like, oh, maybe this is what I was gonna check out. This was what I wanted to see, but it isn't, and it's a shame. The story is so rushed, and it goes from first half episode goes like, all right, they're dealing with the young girl's kidnapping. Okay,
Mhm.
a lot of similar tropes. The the old samurai that doesn't want to fight anymore. He's done. He's seen too much, and now
Now,
they have to.
I mean, you're shading pretty heavily into dislikes.
Yeah, a little
Yes.
bit.
So
Oh,
let
all
me
right.
finish out likes. I mean, this isn't going to take long, trust me. So you'll get back to pretty
Okay.
quickly. So like everybody else has said already, Lakeith Stanfield, he's amazing. Um, I think he may be just a little too laconic in this role. the aging, burned out samurai, completely dejected because his side lost everything. That just he wears that a little too heavily, kind of like all the time. Um, Although in his flashbacks, when you actually do see him in the period when he's first meeting Nobunaga and then fighting with Nobunaga, actually let me. That's what he looks like when he remembers back to when he first meets Nobunaga. He's a servant
that actually reminds me, like, another thing I did. Like, I like the fact that they were able to use a narrative about racism within the story, like with at least with the backtracking. Like every chance they brought up, it was like Yasuke was always reminded that he's not one of them.
Yep. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I also liked the historical sections, which were almost always just in the flashbacks. Even when it wasn't something specifically historical, he's being trained by a female samurai. What is the Obion Gesha or something like that? Is the title apparently that fighting entertainment women, except they are really samurai. They really fight. Even that, because as far as we know, that's not who trained him. Although it was clear he got training because he was fighting with Nobunaga and was made a samurai.
Yep.
But that stuff, the interactions with Nobunaga are fairly close to what is in the actual historical descriptions. People who wrote about seeing this, including Nobunaga, when he realizes he can't wash or wipe the darkness off of his skin, asks him if he is completely tattooed, because he's never seen skin like that before. So whenever they do those flashbacks, that stuff is great. I think the animation is good. The sakuga is fantastic. Clearly, absolutely, the fight scenes are where they put their money.
Well, again, LaShawn Thomas knows sakuga.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. And with the exception of those things that are clearly not human, Yasuke never goes even too far into the whole wushu wire work crazy stuff. He jumps on a building once, and even then it's a single story thatched typical building in that period of Japan. I mean, sure, he still can't do it. Even a 6'2" black man from that period probably doesn't have that kind of vertical. Maybe. And he is 6'2". That's oddly enough in the historical record. Yes. They know exactly how tall he was. So that I liked a lot. There was one surprise that I liked that kept the writing from being below meh and brought it up to meh. And that was when, so in that first 3 episode arc that Byron was describing earlier about with this priest and sort of introducing Saki, the girl, and what's going on with her. We meet these ridiculous mercenaries that this priest, who turns out to be they call him a mutant. Anyway, who turns out to be a demon or something like that. And when they leave without killing Yasuke, because the priest is killed, again, we're talking spoilers, folks, in case you didn't know. And so they can't get paid, and they just go, okay, well, screw it, we're out. I immediately went, okay, here we go. Bad guys coming back to fight and maybe trying to redeem themselves trope. Yep, I can see it. Gonna happen. And they do. And then you find out after the battle that they come back, to help out with is over, that the only reasons they came back is that Saki, who is now more in control of her powers, telepathically reached out to them and said, "Hey, we'll pay you a lot of money if you come and help us." And so that's why they showed up. And I went, wow, they didn't just rely on the, oh, bad guys are going to change, and because they're still bad guys. I mean,
Yeah.
Giant Khal Drogo sickle girl. I can't remember the character's name. You know, she is such a psychopath that she gets killed like that.
Ishikawa?
Yes, because that's what Warlock, I mean, Haruto, Robot, says. These mercenaries are the New Mutants. You've got, instead of a wolf, you've got Bear's Bane. Instead of Warlock, you've got Haruto. Instead of Danny Moonstar, you've got, I can't remember the Benin, guy. It's a gender bent version of Danny Moonstar, but same thing, summon spirits to fight. I mean, it's like, literally, it's the New Mutants aside from Khal Drogo. But anyway, that's, now I'm shading over into dislikes. So likes, is there anything else I liked about it? Gosh, not really. The rest of the voice work is meh. Aside from the guy who did Nobunaga. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's all that I really liked. I like the fact that you could watch it in under endgame time. By the time I realized that, I thought it was, right up until the last episode, I thought it was 8 episodes. And as it's clearly wrapping up in episode 6, I'm going, yes. So shortness. In this case, that's a plus. All right.
Absolutely.
Byron.
Okay.
Dislikes.
Okay, so I just want to get this. I want to get this out of my head already. The show as a whole was all style with very little substance. Like, I wouldn't say no. Again, I can't say no substance because there are hints of competent writing in this series.
Yep.
I just not enough for me to not enough for me to like pat LaShawn Thomas on the back for it though. It's just like there are just points where it feels masturbatory. Like a good example, the Spirit Conjurer. The fact that him and Yasuke are the only two who are protected by plot armor was kind of like, I get what they were trying to do. It's a subversion of the black guy dies first trope.
Yep.
But it's like it felt like it felt unearned, because the fact that like he's still a dipshit after like when all is said and done, the fact that he didn't earn the right to keep going on, that annoyed me. I gotta say, the fact that like the entire like so many like these bounty hunters got killed off so quickly. Like, what was the point? Like, seriously, especially when you're like making all these points, like with Psycho Sickle Lady and everything, and Robolock. You're kind of just like, okay, they had this heart-to-heart moment, and now they're dead. Why for you do that?
And how they die is kind of silly too. Like, okay, so the robot is detecting something's coming. Okay, you can't detect arrows, a volley of a whole bunch of arrows coming your way, and then of course just one kills Ishikawa. Okay, whatever, I get it, drama, blah blah blah, and then the robot jumps in and kills himself with a nuclear-ish bomb. Okay, all right, whatever.
Which, as far as we can tell, obliterates nothing.
Yeah.
It has zero effect on the battle. Like, it's like, ooh, it knocks, our heroes who are running away, down to the ground, which, I mean, it's not like there's anything close enough to give them a problem they can get right up. And then there's no glowing crater, there's no ruins of the giant mechs. Oh, by the way, there are giant mechs in this.
Yes.
But anyway, sorry. Now, again, I'm still, I'm jumping ahead here into my dislikes. Go ahead, Byron.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, actually, because it's just like, I can. I'm a fan of historical fiction. You know, I like a deviation from what is factual in some of these stories. I was prepared for the implementation of key attacks and even fighting demons, but I I was just I was screaming internally when I saw the mechs. I'm just like, why? What are you doing? What time period is set in? And I'm
Even
just
then,
thinking like this.
so I had the same reaction, and then I kind of went, okay, all right, all right. If this is gonna be a supernatural magical battle type story, okay, these mechs are clearly powered by magic. So okay, I'm willing. And then the robot shows up, and he is 100% a robot that we couldn't invent for another 100 fucking years. Pardon my French. And
Yeah,
there's no explanation as to how or why a robot warrior from 22 whatever is in 1600 Japan. Anyway, sorry.
Oh no, I was thinking the same thing. Thank you for bringing that up because I almost forgot it. But I found myself just thinking, yeah, that's kind of ignorant, LaShawn. Like, it's like it's like he put this was like basically a black weeb putting in like mixing in a hodgepodge of different anime tropes into into like a word blender.
Yep.
And it was just like I gotta like I made myself finish it after like the robot was introduced, and I'm just like
it almost feels like LaShawn Thompson had Thomas had this supernatural Tokugawa period story that had nothing to do with anybody named Yasuke, and then was approached to do an anime about Yasuke and went, all right, well, what if we just make the actual historical person Yasuke the hero of this thing that I have been creating? It really feels like that. It's Yasuke stuck into a typical, really trope-filled supernatural historical warrior. Ugh.
It's like he got isekai to Nobunaga the Fool,
or that horrible thing from like 5 years ago, Daishogun.
I don't think I remember that one.
Oh, it was giant mechs in similar period.
Okay, well, yeah.
It was.
I had my problems with Nobunaga the Fool, but at least they didn't. At least it made sense by comparison to this.
Yep.
God, it hurts my brain to think about some of this stuff. But Saki, I did not like her.
Yeah.
I did not like her one bit. And this is going to bleed over into another one of my points, which is how by the numbers this narrative is. And it's like, we have to make because we don't know what time period we're in, we have to play the social pariah trope of the child who doesn't fit in the village, because it might be feudal Japan, it might not be. You'll never know. We don't feel like effing telling you. Oh God.
Yep. Now again, I have the same problem with Saki as a trope. I don't have so much of a problem with Saki as a character. I think that she did actually, of all of the people in there, other than Yasuke, who had a sort of a reverse growth and then growth, showed some growth.
I just couldn't handle the whining.
Maybe this much.
I couldn't handle the whining. I didn't like how disjointed the plot was, because no, I'm sorry, there was no plot. Who am I kidding? The narrative, the overall narrative was just so disjointed, because again, I get it. I get it. 6 episodes, so we're gonna split it into two different arcs instead of making a solid, cohesive story. Which it is possible. It was definitely possible to do that here, but they just decided to throw dart to the board.
Yep.
Uh, there was that. I hated how they killed the mom off. Like they basically fridged her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about a hanging plot element. You know, we're not sure if she's dead. We don't really know. We'll find out. No, you won't. You don't give a. After you mentioned that to Saki in episode 3 or 4, or whatever it is, you don't give a damn.
Not at all. Yeah, I that is like one of my least favorite tropes in all of writing is the woman in the fridge trope.
Yep.
Because it just shows that you don't like some people aren't actually people. They're just plot devices. And it's right up there with the overuse of Deus Ex Machina, which thank God the show didn't have. Well, at least for Yasuke. At least for Yasuke, I should say.
That is true. The one time when it's a little bit like that is when in episode 3 when he's done being tortured and he gets rescued by Saki. But they set up the fact that she's going back to find him and that she knows where he is. Because she overhears the robot and the hacky girl say it, and then using her powers basically float them in air until they get there. So yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, there were way too many tertiary characters in this thing too.
Yep.
This show would have worked so much better if they had trimmed down on all the extraneous bits as a whole. Maybe make the priest or the shogun the main villain all the way through. You can even have the shogun, like the new shogun, like operating from the shadows for the first couple episodes, and then make her big reveal. But no, they just decided to make it 2 isolated incidents, and it's like, oh, I heard that this child has powers that can keep me alive. What a coinky dink!
Yep.
And I feel like if I say any more, I'll just be repeating myself. So.
All right, Manny.
I think the biggest problem for me with this anime is that there's nothing really original about it except for his past. That I really wanted to see. That's the story I wanted to know. Even if they added the robots and magic and whatever, all right, fine. But his story of how he got to Japan, how he became a samurai, the wars he fought, how he learned his skills. That's the story I really wanted to see. I thought that would have been something I would never really seen in an anime before. But everything else is just I've seen it before. It's boring. I didn't hate Saki. It's just that I've seen that character many other times before. That's really it in a nutshell. If I would say, it's just I just got really bored. 6 episodes I'm just so glad it was short. I'm so glad that I had to suffer more through this anime. But I really hated it. Like you said, like all right, 3 episodes that was focusing on this evil priest, evil European priest, and then suddenly these 3 episodes they'll find a daimyo, and I don't know, just I I really didn't enjoy this at all. I'm disappointed. This could have been so much more, and it was such a big letdown. Um, and one tiny thing, Nikita's a werebear, so she should be regenerating, unless they use silver magic or something weird like that.
We're trying to make a competent script. We made that mistake on Thursday during Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I can't really go any more to it without explaining how like every scene was just boring and dull, and I've seen it before, the whole fight scene, so predictable. Everything was really predictable. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. All right, so mostly all of what you said. I think that the actual structure of the 6 episodes are the first three is this introduction of the characters, and the tension is this evil priest who serves the daimyo, who's the of this region. I'm pretty sure none of the daimyos in 1610 or whatever it is, Japan, were in fact female demonic spider, whatever the hell that thing was. But anyway, and then there was the one episode that was the start of the daimyo's search for Saki. That was the story of vampire Momo-kun, giant samurai lady who can pull weapons out of her body. I'm like, really? That's where you're going with this? Which is literally one episode. She fails but doesn't die, except that at the beginning of the next episode, the daimyo kills her for failing. It's like, why? Why did you just do that? Why did you give us it doesn't advance anything other than it gave us, some good sakuga of watching Yasuke cut the crap out of her samurai retainers. That's it. That's the only reason that existed. And then you've got 2 episodes that are the final battle. That go specifically together. I mean, they are essentially one long episode.
Yeah.
And so the structure is just so weird that by the time I got done with episode 3, I was just about ready to. I wasn't going to bail. I thought about skipping ahead to the final episode, because I was just so done. The pacing was awful in those first 3 episodes, absolutely terrible, bad in number 4. And then the last 2 were literally just a rush of battles.
I did have one thing just came to mind, actually. The theme song, it did not feel like it's like it's the theme of the show. It reminded me too much of All the Stars from Black Panther, which...
Okay. I kind of thought, how did they resurrect Luther Vandross to do this theme? I mean, really, you've got this, make it an African theme, make it a Japanese theme, make it a modern rock. I don't care. Luther Vandross? I mean, it's not Luther Vandross, but boy, does it sound like a Luther Vandross song.
Oh, yeah. I forgot, it's like an underground hip hop group. I forgot their name off the top of my head, but I recognize the name and I'm just like, okay, this would have been a better ending, but not so much an opener. It's like this isn't getting you ready for the action of this show.
Give me Afro Samurai. Give me Samurai Champloo. Give me some. Put Run the Jewels in there once or twice.
I'll take it.
Anything but that. I'm listening to the first couple of measures of that song, and I'm going, what the hell? So thank you. Theme song was another one of my moments. The overall concept, and Manny got into this, of making this a supernatural fantasy, demon, magic, whatever, when Yasuke's story is so just freaking fascinating. The real Yasuke. This is a black guy from somewhere on the coast of East Africa, probably Mozambique, who literally becomes a samurai retainer, the sword bearer for the famous Oda Nobunaga. How can you not want to make that story and that story alone? Disappointing doesn't even come close. When I saw the first trailer, when they finally released a full trailer for this, and I saw the mechs and the magic, I'm like...
I never saw the mechs.
Oh, you're so lucky. I'm like, what the... like, okay, well, and like I said, maybe I'll give it, it's going to be kind of a supernatural thing, and then it just went off the rails. There is an awful lot of stupid, and there are moments when there isn't stupid, like I mentioned the whole Saki thing, making the trope of the bad guys show up to become good guys and help out. Not that at all. She promised them a boatload of money. With the one or two moments like that, there's hundreds of just stupid character decisions.
Indeed.
And just absolutely bog standard, supernatural anime tropes that, as Manny said, you eventually you just get, I mean, why I'm finishing it because we've got it on the docket for, Monday night. Literally, that's the reason I'm finishing it. Gosh, I know I had some other complaints, but I'm kind of, ranted out at this point. Here's, I only say this because I saw this actually in something else. Matsuhira. No, not Matsuhira. Morosuke. The samurai magic user.
Yes.
Morosuke at one point tells Saki while they're in the astral plane that he's communicating with her telekinetically.
Oh yes.
Right.
I wanted to bang my head into the floor when I heard that. I was like, that's not how that works.
If you write supernatural bullshit, you should know what the terminology is. It's telepathy. Mind-to-mind communication is telepathy. Telekinesis is picking crap up with your mind. Jean Grey.
At that point, I just want to write LaShawn Thomas. I'm like, dear Mr. Thomas, read any X-Men comic from like the last 30 years.
And again, the only reason I say I bring this up is that in the description of an upcoming movie that's being made right now about encounters with an alien race, it says that this alien that the character encounters communicates with the astronaut telekinetically. I went, no, this didn't happen to me twice in like 4 days. Yeah. Anyway.
At least they didn't talk pyrokinetically. That would have been tough.
No, that would have made. I think that would have made things a lot more interesting.
It would really blow his mind. Anyway, so that's my nitpick of the show.
I have one more. I have one
okay.
nitpick actually. Yasuke was bald. Yasuke was bald. Look at any official pictures.
There are no official pictures.
Oh.
There are pictures of black people from the period that some people think probably were Yasuke but he wasn't the only black person in Japan at the time. Black people started coming into Japan, according to the official Japanese records, in the Portuguese ships from Mozambique in 1545. So 35 years before he gets there, black people have been coming in. And I looked this up to see, good, we got there is no actual official picture that shows Yasuke. There are two that might very well be him because they were done at that period. And yes, you are both of those. The character is bald, or the black person displayed is bald.
Yes.
And this fact is better than the whole plot of the Yasuke.
Yeah. Although when he did cut his dreads, in the last 2 episodes or last 3 episodes, he looked kind of badass.
I gotta say this though. It's like I feel I understand everyone wanting a more historically accurate story, but again, this is coming from a Hamilton fan, so I guess that's why I can forgive that aspect of this narrative.
Again, it's not that I hate that. I'm disappointed by it. This could have been a better show.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's not the retelling. It's that the retelling was bad.
Well, there's that too.
Fair enough. Oh
You know,
yeah, absolutely. The retelling was horrible.
yeah, maybe if this series was like thought out more, added more episodes. Maybe not but forget the daimyo thing. Just worry about like maybe the aftermath of what he went through, the trauma of it, and then trying to
Yes.
process it, and then try to get back and becoming a samurai again. Okay, I could watch that too.
And no
Uh,
robots.
no,
And
yeah,
No
please,
no
effing robots.
robots.
but this I no, this is bad. This is a bunch of just crap put in together and hopefully it's turned to gold.
Word
So
salad.
this section is probably going to be really fast. Overriding themes or messages other than we want to make money. Byron, any thoughts?
Black creators' revenge. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, all right.
Because I mean, Hollywood's been doing that to us for years, like killing us off, tokenizing us, uh, and all that good stuff. The fact that the fact that the that like I'm there again, there are hints of a smart story here. They're just few and far between.
Yep.
Like the fact that Saki was just as important as Yasuke to the narrative was awesome because like okay, you have a person of color in the lead and you have a female who is the Deuteronomus of the story, and she's not and not only is she female, she's capable, and there are so many amazing capable women in this story. Most of them are just killed off.
Yep. Yeah. No. Like I said, I think this was a completely separate story that LaShawn Thomas had lying around, and somebody approached him with the idea of doing a Yasuke anime, and he went, "Let's make Yasuke the secondary or the co-lead of this story that I was going to do about this, powerful magical girl anyway."
All style, very little substance.
Yep. Manny, did you glean anything remotely like a message or theme out of this?
I almost want to say like themes of racism, but then this is a world where it's like what are your doesn't matter. Like there was a black sorcerer. There's a Russian werebear, which everyone was okay with. No one freaked out. There are robots running anywhere. To me, it's almost like it's a forced point in because now I'm starting to think, okay, how does the world exactly work together? If everyone could travel out of Japan during this time period very easily in and out, I don't know. It just makes me think like, what's going on here exactly? But yeah, it's just money because I can't think of anything. None of this makes sense. I mean,
Cold
it's
hard cash.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a with the exception of Yasuke's past, this is all just a bunch of tropes, typical anime tropes put together.
Yep. And the actual only real evidence of racism is in the consistently with this one general under Nobunaga who keeps telling Yasuke that he'll never be a samurai because he's black. He's not, he's not part of the old way. Who ultimately becomes, this, the dark general. Like, really?
Yeah, and what is the old way?
Subtle.
Is it no robots? Is it what is the old way? Because I'm really confused by that.
Apparently, magical mechs that are, the size of the Empire State Building are part of the old way too. Anyway, yeah,
And yeah, that's another thing that kind of bugged me was that whole Dark General thing because it's like, okay, so you're saying racism is bad. Here's the thing: we already know that.
right. And the only person in this entire anime who displays racism toward Yasuke is this guy who's an asshole in Yasuke's memories back when he was fighting with Nobunaga or for Nobunaga and becomes a demon possessed tool of the demon evil daimyo. So the only person exhibiting racism in that period in Japan was somebody who was literally demonically possessed evil.
Yeah, so I won't accept uh, this black samurai into our clan, but so I'll sell myself out to the spider witch who's gonna revere the old way. Okay, whatever. All right, if you
Yep.
say so.
Yeah. Yeah. Stupid is as stupid does.
Yeah, it comes off as a power fantasy when you really sit and think about it, because I've been to Japan, and I'll tell you that it ain't like that at all. There are plenty of citizens who will remind you that you are a filthy gaijin that doesn't belong here.
Yeah, I mean, without bashing on Japan, the concept of Japanese cultural nationalism is just so well known.
Yeah.
It's a thing. You know, try to get, and this is based not on personal experience, but listening to a whole bunch of non-Japanese people who are currently living in Japan and various YouTube channels and so on. Try to get housing in Japan as a non-Japanese person. It's ridiculously difficult. You get stopped on the street and asked questions because you're not Japanese by the police. Anyway, we're not here to bash the Japanese culture or to say that we are going to say that it is not probably very well represented in the deep level of acceptance of Yasuke by everybody except this one evil, twisted, demonically possessed general. So yeah, there's no message here. The message is take more than 6 episodes to do a show, write it out properly with proper writing and good pacing. Having Lakeith Stanfield, which will forgive a whole lot of sins, is not enough.
It's sad. Even with Blood of Zeus, as terrible as it was, at least that had themes. It wasn't great. It didn't display it like a good job displaying it.
Right.
But at least that had themes that I can okay, I see where they're going with this. This show, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, they could even have explored, this could be, if you want to put a sort of modern spin on it, a tale of PTSD. Yeah. Because there's no question Yasuke was suffering from that when we first meet him. Do they explore that at all, except for one minor flash of it when he stabs a female samurai, and it reminds him of when he stabbed a female samurai before?
Did you both see the extra credits ending at the end of the 6th episode?
I don't think I remember it.
I don't. Yeah.
The only reason why I thought there was something is because I saw it was 5 minutes left. Oh, that's a little weird.
So you mean the sort of wrap up of how everybody goes off and.
Well, there was a part where he visits the brother of the woman they killed.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that.
That's the closest thing. He's trying to wrap up whatever the trauma he suffered, but I don't know.
It's the Falcon and the African soldier. Bucky did it before. I'm just saying. Anyway, Aaron Medina, welcome to the show, and you are just in time for us to wrap it up, so we're not going to spoil Yasuke for you, because we've just finished. Although, now's the time, since we did our recommendations at the beginning to help out Ranting with Spectre, now's the time to give out our, let's not talk spoilers when we describe why we want to recommend or not. Recommendation and rating, Byron.
Like I said at the beginning, if you're bored, you got 2.5 hours to kill, knock yourself out. But if you were looking for something with any kind of meat to it, any thought, any heart, any type of intelligence, no, spank you.
Exactly. Manny.
All right. Now that I've able to share my thoughts and everything, no, I do not recommend this. There's just too much good anime out there for anyone to waste time on this.
Yep. I will give this a conditional recommendation because it is the only depiction in anime so far of Yasuke. And so if you are interested in that, watch it, and watch every scene that starts with white letters describing where and when this is taking place in a very calligraphy sort of splash brush style. because those are the flashbacks and the closer to historical stuff. And then everything other than that, like, keep it running so you'll know when these things pop up, but turn the sound off. It's just not worth it. It's, you know, it's a huge disappointment. And unless you are really, really keen on seeing this only anime depiction of this fascinating character Yasuke, then I wouldn't recommend it at all. I'd say just avoid it.
I would say that I would put this in the category of hot pocket media, where it's just like like you can consume it, but you won't get anything worthwhile out of it. Kind of like eating a hot pocket.
Yeah. All right. I was more disappointed.
That's gonna be my rating from now on.
Hopefully we'll watch things that won't fit into that rating, but we'll never know. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for joining us. As we usually do, if I can find it, there it is. Folks, if you're interested, join us or look at us, check us out. Wow. English. Watch us. Check us out at patreon.com/nerdcaliber. We'd love to have you help support us. Very low tiers. They're basically there so that you can help us do more content like this. Our, you know, when cons come back, our more typical con video content, things like that. So patreon.com/nerdcaliber. Tomorrow night, Nerd Week Live. All sorts of cool stuff, including our first look at the new Masters of the Universe series from Kevin Smith.
It looks amazing.
It looks amazing. All right, but no, it looks amazing. And a bunch of other stuff that dropped, some very cool things, including the latest, they call them clips, not teasers, from Black Widow and Loki. Just dropped recently.
Oh, it's Snake Eyes.
Oh, and the Snake Eyes trailer.
Say that.
And
that's
the Snake
why he's wearing
Eyes
a hat.
So lots of stuff we're going to be talking about tomorrow night. So that's Nerd Week Live. Full fat spoiler chat this coming Thursday is Shadow and Bone. So I can't do that because I can't tell you if I'm excited about this show or not because we haven't gotten to full fat spoiler chat. But I guess I kind of gave that away. Also, 8 o'clock. All of our shows are 8 o'clock. So Thursday, Shadow and Bone. And our next Monday show is No Nerd Caliber. And that is because we're going to be doing Castlevania that next week. Yeah. Vampires. Favorite vampire movie or TV shows, correct?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Cool beans. All right, folks. Manny, give us a goodbye.
All right. Take care, everyone. Be safe. Get your shots. We'll see you next time.
Excellent. Byron.
Byron McNeil, Byron D0. Make sure to practice social distancing. Wear your effing mask. And let's ride this thing out. We are almost there.
We're almost there. Now,
good.
And I'm Rodney Brown, editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, blah, blah, blah. Massachusetts, which is where we are based, is lifting its COVID restrictions pretty much completely as of May 29th. So I leave it to you to decide whether or not you want to follow that and CDC guidelines to, as whether you wear a mask or not, if you are fully vaccinated. If you are not vaccinated, wear a mask. Please.
You're on the honor system.
And that it is on the honor system, which means that when cons come about, I am going to be wearing a mask. I don't know whether or not 75,000 of my favorite friends at New York Comic Con or PAX East or whatever have been vaccinated, want to be vaccinated, are lying about being vaccinated, or have been exposed to a variant that we don't know anything about at this point. So I'm going to be wearing a mask when I'm around that size of a crowd. I won't when I'm out fishing now. So there's that. So enjoy going outside and running and not wearing a mask, and generally, just try to still keep your distance, but enjoy that beautiful weather out there. But please consider mask wearing conditional and be safe. Having said that, thank you all very much. And thank you, everybody in the chats, for your comments, your observations, your questions, and then rapid departures, but that's okay. And we'll see you next week or tomorrow or some other time. Bye-bye.